Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. This is the October Love Predictions reading. I am aware that this is very late. I'm really sorry about that. Things have been busy on my end, and then in addition to that I had a lot of orders in my online shop. Just my reading shop has been really busy. People booking private readings, energy healing sessions with me, which is wonderful, and I'm really pleased about that. But it's just that I prioritize those over being able to do a YouTube reading, just because if someone's paid to have a service from me, I want to make sure that they're not waiting too long for it. And a YouTube reading takes quite a long time for me to film and edit and put together. So that's why I'm a little bit late on this one. I'm really sorry about that. But hopefully, even though we're sort of so far into October already, hopefully the messages here will be important and pertinent to your situation. You might find that some of the messages kind of clarify or explain some of the things you've already been feeling or experiencing in what we've had of October so far. So it could still be beneficial in that sense. And then obviously we've got still the majority of the month left, thank goodness. So yes, apologies for the delay. But I really hope you enjoy this one. And for anyone who's ever interested in any of the services I offer privately, always check my description box of every video. If you just scroll down underneath the video, open up the little description box. That is actually a useful place. It's where I put all different kinds of links and information. So sometimes, for example, I get people in the comments saying, oh, which deck is this that you used? In my description box, if you scroll down, I always list all of the decks that I use in each reading. So if you're ever wondering, oh, that deck looks a bit nice, I wonder what it's called, have a look, and it'll be listed there. So that should be helpful. I also have links in the description box to my online shop, which is my Etsy page, where I take all bookings for private readings and healing sessions. I don't have my own website, so I just take all bookings on Etsy, so the link for that is there. There's also the link to my Patreon page for any of you who want to become a supporter of me and the work that I do. The link is in the description box there. It would be lovely to see you there. I'm truly happy whenever I get a new patron, and yeah, that's a lovely little community. Then on top of that, there's also my PayPal donations link for anyone who is kind enough to offer a one-off gift of support for the work that I do. That is there. All of that is greatly appreciated. And I have a tarot and oracle deck wish list as well, which is like an Amazon wish list. The link is also in the description. I've had lots of beautiful decks sent to me by really kind people over the years. So if you're interested in doing something like that, that is very kind of you. Thank you so much. Just check out the link. I've got a list of decks that I would really love to have, and they're all listed in there. So always check the description box. There's always interesting things and hopefully useful things in there. Thank you to all of my subscribers for being here. Thank you to all of my lovely patrons as well, including the delightful Kelly and Angelica. Thank you so much for your support and your energy, the lovely energy that you bring to my life every month. I am really grateful for the little chats that we have and the support that you offer me. So without further ado, and apologies, I can be rambly sometimes, but let's look at the piles that we have today. So we have 3 piles, which is typical for my readings. If you're new, I tend to do 3 piles because it's just a nice number, I think. And we have shuffled 3 cards to be what I call the pile marker cards, the ones that differentiate so that you can choose your pile. So these are shuffled, so they might have a meaning attached to them that is relevant for your reading. It's not just that I've chosen them because I think they look good. But group 1, you have the Toad Witch, number 7, and this is the, which one is this? This is the villains, the Disney villains tarot deck that we're using for group 1. So you've got the Toad Witch with some sort of swampy toad cake with what looks like they could be brambles on top. Or they're called blackberries in the south of England, but I'm actually from the north, so in my region they're called brambles. So that is group 1. Group 2, the Toil and Trouble Witch is your card. Number 14, Bubble Bubble Toil and Trouble. There are ghosts and a spider with fangs, very purpley card, and you have the Hocus Pocus Tarot. So this is, again, a Disney deck, Disney licensed Hocus Pocus Tarot, for those of you who love that film. And then group 3, you have the Treasure Witch, and you do not have a Disney deck, so the Treasure Witch is also number 7. Treasure Witch and Toad Witch are both number 7, and this is the Everyday Witch Tarot, which a lot of people really love. So that one is your pile. So choose based on your intuition. I would say, I always say don't overthink it. So you can just take a deep breath and then take a look at which pile is drawing your attention. That's not focusing. There we go. It's fine to choose more than one pile if you're struggling. And you can go back to the start of the video if you want to see the close-ups again with the different decks. But when you have chosen, I will start filming pile number 1. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this one. I'm really looking forward to filming it because it already feels like a little while since I've done a YouTube video. So it's always nice to get back into it. Hello there, beautiful group 1. If you chose the Toad Witch, number 7, and the Disney Villains deck, this one is your October love reading. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. Normally I shuffle each card individually, sort of live, but today I've already pre-shuffled your oracle cards. We're going to shuffle your tarot cards live. I haven't looked at your cards. I'm going to be discovering them at the same time as you, but I thought we'd do it that way just for a change. And then we've got charms, dice as usual, but I'm also using tokens, divination tokens in your reading today, so plenty to get through. If you're new, I like to use lots of different media to do a reading. I don't just use cards. I use normally charms and dice. Sometimes I use rune stones. Sometimes I use a book of answers that we open it at a page and it gives us an answer. And today we've got the divination tokens. So charms, tokens, dice is what we're using. So the Toad Witch. So if I'm looking at this card and thinking about a meaning this could have for your love messages in October, this is just really making me think of like the Princess and the Frog, and you know, she kisses the frog, he turns into a prince. Well, some of these toads do have crowns on their heads, so maybe they were once princes. But perhaps not all of them are. Perhaps none of them were, you know, princes in a sort of behavioral sense. Maybe some of you have been dealing with a lot of toads or frogs when it comes to love. Maybe you've sort of been dating and just seem to be getting like toad after toad. Or maybe someone has treated you badly. There's someone in your life that you wish you could turn into a toad, like witches are sometimes renowned for doing. So, yeah, that's what I'm seeing with that is, you know, people that just aren't hitting the mark for you, or people that have treated you badly in love. Let's get your tarot cards and then we'll look at what your pre-shuffled oracle cards have to say. So we're doing Disney Villains deck. Love this deck. Group 1. Love messages for October, group 1. Okay, what have you got? So your first card here is Strength. So that is the Leo card. You have the Magician as well, 2 major arcana cards. Strength and the Magician. And then the Devil, another major arcana card. This one is Capricorn. So Leo and Capricorn. And then you have Knight of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And yeah, this Gaston, he is my least favorite Disney character out of all the Disney characters that there are. And I know that sounds really weird because there are people that are definitely like objectively worse than him, but for some reason he just really grinds my gears, and he has done since I was a child. So I just find him, he's just so arrogant and terrible. So maybe you've been dealing with some Gaston type characters. I'm not sure which film this one's from. I think this is Chernobog from Fantasia. This one I think is from, oh, what's it called? Is it The Borrowers? Is that what it's called? The little girl and the little mice? Let me know in the comments if you know, because I could be wrong, but I think that's what they're meant to be. I think there's 2 alligators in that. Okay, let's look at your pre-shuffled cards. I have them here. Didn't really do them in any particular order, but let's start with your masculine and feminine messages. So I always pull masculine and feminine cards when I do a relationship reading. It doesn't mean that there is like a man and a woman in the relationship. It's more to do with the energy involved. And for example, if you are a woman, you might not be represented by the feminine in the reading. It's to do with the energy of your relationship. So if I show you, you've got 2 masculine cards actually. Ganesh, Wisdom, number 15. And Helios, Perspective, number 21. So this could represent 2 different people. It could be one person. I think they do fit together quite nicely as one person, wisdom and perspective. So the masculine in this situation is taking a higher, more insightful perspective. Seems perhaps a little bit detached, possibly trying to get like a more logical, objective view or a big picture, long-term view on a situation. So you might be, if this is, you know, the other person, if you're in a relationship or if you're dating, you might be struggling in a way to connect with your partner or the person you're interested in because they just seem, you know, zoomed out and like focused on other things or focused on logic more than emotions. Equally, this could be you. If you don't have anyone in your life right now, this is more to do with who you are attracting in this month. The message from the feminine is the Morrigan. Sovereignty, powerful Celtic goddess, the Morrigan. Sovereignty. So the feminine is also, I would say also a little bit standoffish at the moment. So in a different way, like this feels more quiet, contemplative. And this one feels more fierce and like, I know what I need to do and don't tell me what to do, you know, back off. This is what I'm doing. So the feminine is coming from a place of almost defensiveness, I think, of like, I'm going to do this. Like it's giving me real strong Queen of Swords vibes. And that can be great in an empowered way. She's really independent. She knows what she wants. She knows what she needs to do. No one's going to boss her around, make her back down, tell her what she's going to do. But on the flip side, that can be coming from a place of fear and defensiveness. So I guess only you will know what this is. But that's the kind of situation between the masculine and feminine at the moment. Someone's being perhaps a little bit avoidant. Someone's kind of got their guard up. It's interesting. So let's see what else you have. So you have God. Now this is the person you're attracting towards you. This is an archetype. So light attributes, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Shadow attributes, despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. So this is the person that you are attracting towards you in October. It could be someone you're in a relationship with, or it could be, as I mentioned, an entirely new person. So these definitely fit together. Like he even looks a bit like Helios with the sundial behind his head and his golden hair and the fact he seems to be in the clouds. So there is a detached feeling to this. Someone who is, just like more objective, more focused on big picture things. Maybe quite hard to get them to engage in small talk right now. Maybe a bit hard to sort of get them to commit to things at the moment. I'm kind of just seeing like someone who is just not interested in the details at the moment. So that might be a real issue if you're in a relationship. You might be feeling so frustrated with your partner because they keep making non-committal noises when you're trying to book a holiday, or, you know, you want to have deeper, meaningful conversations and they're busy, you know, pondering world peace or something just much more, you know, removed, and they're not interested in the mundane, you know, so their chores might be going undone and that's just really irritating to you, or they're just not interested in what they might term mindless chatter. They just they want to focus on the big important things, and that's perhaps not what you're interested in doing at the moment. So you might struggle, I think, if you are actively dating, you might struggle to just like build a rapport straight away. There might be a little bit of I'm not sure I'm hitting it off with this person. Like, I'm not sure I'm getting to the crux of the real them. So some of you just struggling to kind of see the emotional, almost like even personality side of this person. It's not like they don't have a personality, but just that they're interested in talking about things that are perhaps quite academic, or they're interested in talking about current affairs, big issues that are going on in the world at the moment. And it's like, okay, that's fine, that's interesting perhaps, but who are you? What are your genuine feelings, not just your more kind of academic thoughts? What are your feelings about this? What do you enjoy doing? Like, it's like you're just trying to connect on two different levels, if that makes sense, like almost speaking cross purposes. So what else have we got? We have not ready. And I think this definitely speaks to both parties here, is just a sense of like both focusing on different things, working out different things. I would say if you're in a relationship, group one, try your best to make time for your partner in October. It does seem as though both parties are kind of busy with their own interests and be really focused on independence, which is wonderful, because you also have the Magician, which is a very independent card, and that's great. But then you've got the Devil, and the Devil always shows us a situation that is limiting to us, something that is holding us back in some way. And so Knight of Cups, I mean, there is love here, or there is the potential for love and romance if you're not in a relationship. But it's like, those of you that are in a relationship, you would really benefit in October from taking some time to just say, guess what? Wednesday night, it's date night. Phone's in another room. We're just going to sit, eat a meal, chat, and then maybe we can, curl up and watch a film, and maybe phones are allowed then. But like we're going to have that strict, this is our time. And I think you will both really, really benefit from that, because then it's just, you're both doing your own things, but then you come together and you have that special time. If you're not in a relationship and there is someone you're seeing, or you're going on a date of some kind in October, I would say potentially give someone a second chance. And that's not like, obviously if they're rude to you, let's not go there. But if you just kind of struggle to hit it off with someone the first time around, if there are some communication issues, because I think, does Mercury go into retrograde this month? I think it might do, or it may already be in retrograde. You may just not get an accurate first impression of someone. So just bear that in mind. Like, someone might come across much better on the second meet than they do the first time you meet them. Okay, so what else do we have? So group one, you have Untreue, number 70, which is infidelity. You also have Rückzug, withdrawal or retreat. That's number 63. And then you have Geben, giving, number 3. So some of you have had problems with infidelity in the past, or perhaps just concerns about that, worries, suspicions about that. And that doesn't have to be in your current relationship. It can be in a past situation as well. Because I see like infidelity retreat, it's like showing me that either this action or the suspicion of it, even if it wasn't actually happening or wasn't actually proven, has caused you to withdraw, or has caused you to feel less confident, less secure, just have less trust in relationships, which is completely natural. And then you have giving. So it's like learning to give and receive again after that experience or after that suspicion. I don't see this as a present energy, given that how these three have kind of come out in a row. So I don't think that there is currently infidelity ongoing or going to happen. I think this is something that you are either currently working through with your partner or is something that has happened in the past and you know about it because it is connected to this withdrawal or retreat. What else do you have? Work through your feelings. Last quarter moon in Aries. Yeah. So some unresolved feelings here. First chakra, Archangel Michael, 35. That's the root chakra. So yeah, worries that kind of make you feel really out of balance. When the root chakra is blocked, it's when we're sort of worried about our own sense of security, safety, and survival. And any sort of situation like this, or suspicions that someone is, betraying you, would of course rock that sense of safety and security. So I think for those of you that have been through that experience, you're just really not over it yet. And I think that's partly what the not ready card is giving us. And it's not to say that you shouldn't be looking at romance if that's the case, or that you're not to be in your current relationship. But I just think it's saying that there are some things that still need to be worked through. Maybe that's where the defensiveness is coming from potentially, or this detachment and focusing on other things. There is some healing that needs to be done. So then you have sword, make the change, number 7. Make that change. There's the Queen of Swords again in a way. Be strong, be decisive, and flirt. Extend your light-hearted energy to others. So definitely this is about, as I said, like making that designated time to be with your partner and not just like pushing it away. If you're not in a relationship, then this is about kind of getting back on the wagon after this kind of experience, or the worries about this sort of thing that have kind of inhibited you from being able to do that. So extend your light-hearted energy to others. Interesting, group 1. Okay, let me get your charms and tokens and dice, and we'll see what they have to say. We'll start with charms. Okay, so you have 2 letters actually. You've got M and Q. Q always makes me think of questioning, and that's landing on the first chakra card. So perhaps questioning whether you're really safe, questioning your stability, questioning the foundations upon which something has been built. M is landing on the moon card, so it could be moon, Morrigan, potentially. But these could also be, they could be words, they could be initials, names, places. Just take whatever comes to you from that one. You have the skull, symbolic of death, so change and transition. The need for something to change. It's like things can't go on the way they currently are. Something's got to give eventually. Something's got to change. You have the owl, insight, wisdom. You've had that twice now because you've got Ganesha. Wisdom and insight. Gaining a deeper understanding of something. You have the snail, going slowly. And also the gear. Now this is landing on Helios, and whenever the gear lands on something, it means that that thing is already happening or is already in progress. So Helios stands for perspective, getting a higher perspective, seeing something from a different angle, usually one that is much more detached or more zoomed out, because Helios is the god of the sun in ancient Greece, and he, as the sun god, is able to sort of look down upon all of the earth and see everything that's going on. He can, scour the earth to see where someone is or what's happening, or, anything. He can find it on the surface of the earth. So there's that sense of detachment and, being removed from a situation, but also being able to see it more clearly. And then here you have a geography marker, actually. So on the withdrawal card, you've got this cat, and this is a geography marker for Africa. So you could be dealing with someone who has African heritage or who comes from an African country. Perhaps they have an African name or surname, for example, even if that's not their heritage. It's a very specific one, but that is what my geography markers are for. It's a validation sometimes for people who are like, is this my pile? And then they get that charm and they're like, oh yeah, it is. So it won't apply to everyone who's watching today, but for some of you, it'll be a really powerful marker. So let me get your tokens, because I think I've left them over there, actually. Let me just go and grab your divination tokens, and we'll do those, and then your dice. Okay, I've got them. So I actually have 2 bags of divination tokens. Got the small tokens and the big ones. I'm going to use them both. So we'll start with the small ones. Okay, and now the larger ones. Aha, this is really ringing true. Do not disturb. Because both the masculine and the feminine are showing like, I need some space, I need some time to think, or I need some, what's the word? Distance between myself and this situation. You also have infinity though. Infinity. Perhaps this is referring to the fact that you have been cheated on before, or you've worried about that before in previous relationships, but your partner is true. Infinity sort of makes me think of loyal, like it never ends. Some of you perhaps feel like you're repeating patterns in October. What have you got? You've got Cactus, number 57. That one is about survival mode. It's kind of like strength in a way, but I guess a bit more challenging in the sense that you are tough enough to get through something, but it's a shame that you're having to go through that, if that makes sense. You've also got the rain cloud, 37, that's sadness. Feeling like there is a rain cloud above you, feeling like something has been tinged or tainted by something else. You have the witch at number 42 on her broomstick. Magic. Again, spells make me think of transformation, and you have this make the change card. And of course the skull, death, transformation. The need to make a change, to be decisive. I mean, what is a witch if not decisive, you know? And then the light bulb, number 70, realization, clarity, understanding. And certainly this is here in the masculine energy of perspective and insight. I suppose the owl is also touching upon the feminine as well, and that brings insight and wisdom too. Some kind of important realization. In October, maybe you realize that things need to change, something like it can't just keep going on as it is. You've got to make a change. Perhaps you're not sure straight away what that is, but you're just aware that that change needs to come. And the M next to the witch could be magic, manifestation potentially. Let's get your dice. Okay, we're rolling the 5th set of dice. Where are they? Those are the actions dice. Group 1. We're going to roll 6 of them for you. Lovely. Group 1. Okay. Interesting. Look at this. On the giving card, you have the giving dice, and it's the same image. It's someone offering a gift, a present of some kind. You may be offered some kind of token or gift In October, a loved one might want to make something up to you. They might want to apologize for being distant, for example, or if they've hurt you. Someone also might just give you the gift of their time, the gift of advice, potentially. Either way, this is also just saying like you opening up more to giving and receiving. Because there is obviously this period of time in October where there's this locked door in your energy, potentially in this other person's energy. Might feel like you're looking for love and you're just running up against lots of locked doors, and perhaps that's just mirroring back how you're feeling because deep down you're not feeling ready. You have the person carrying the heavy box, the sense of a burden, of something being far more difficult than it should be, far more difficult than you'd hoped it would be. And look at this, the person is throwing the ball up into the air, and this person is batting the ball into the air. And when I see either of these, I think about how they're sending energy out into the world. They're putting energy out there. And so I do think that a lot of you are trying to flirt. You are trying to get dates if you're not in a relationship. You are trying to put yourself out there. But I think many of you have just kept running up against these toads or these locked doors, as I mentioned. And there is this insecurity for many of you, this worry about, can I trust this person? Will I be hurt again? I don't want to be in that anxiety-ridden environment again. And that's completely understandable and natural and normal. So I think there is an anxiety about putting yourself out there, even though that is what you are doing. Group 1, you have the person who's trying to reach this cup that's very up high, striving for something, trying hard to get something that feels just outside your reach. And then the match burning away the paper. This is like a clean break. This is like letting go. This is cleansing and releasing what you don't need to carry around with you anymore. Like the person with that heavy box. I'm not saying physically set fire to things, but I am saying there will be an opportunity in October for you to heal and release something. Let go of it so that you can heal and move on. So I hope this was helpful, Group 1. As I said, maybe it's already explained some of the things you've been experiencing. I think at least some of October will just feel like you are knocking on a locked door. But equally there is this, as I mentioned, this sense of uncertainty, anxiety, worry from your own side about being vulnerable with someone again, opening up to someone again. And if you're in a relationship, it just feels like you're both focusing on your own things and you just need to make that time for each other. Because a little bit of quality time goes a long way in a relationship, especially in a long-term relationship. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here, Group 1. Have a lovely rest of your day. Have a wonderful October. Sorry again that this was so late, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Take care. Hi there, Group 2. Welcome to your reading for those of you who chose the Toil and Trouble Witch, number 14, and the Hocus Pocus Tarot. This one is for you, so I'm going to be shuffling your tarot live, but I've pre-shuffled your oracle cards. I haven't looked at them though, so I'll be discovering them at the same time as you. So Toil and Trouble Witch. It's making me think of like you're worried about something, potentially in love, or you feel as though something is not quite right. It's that saying, I think it's from Macbeth, isn't it? Something wicked this way comes. That's what Toil and Trouble comes from. So possibly you're worried that things aren't going as well as they could be in love, or maybe you're just feeling unsettled, feeling a little bit anxious and uncertain. So I'm just going to go straight into it. Let's get your tarot cards and see what they can tell us. And then we'll look at your oracle cards as well. Group 2, love messages for October. Love messages for October for Group 2. Quite a lot of cards. Let's see. So you have suspension, which is the Hanged Man. Temperance. Suspension and temperance, they both suggest a moderate time. This is Sagittarius energy. You've got the Tower. So that's 3 major arcana cards all in a row. Oh, and the Emperor as well. My goodness. 4. The Emperor is Aries. So you've got Sagittarius and Aries, 2 fire signs. Then 7 of Lightning, which is 7 of Swords. There's that anxiety, I think. 10 of Candles or 10 of Wands. And then 10 of Pumpkins, 10 of Pentacles. Interesting mix of cards. You have so many cards, my goodness. Okay, yes, I feel as though things have been perhaps a little bit quiet on the love front for many of you with suspension and temperance. And I think that goes, even if you're in a romantic relationship, maybe you just haven't been making much quality time for your partner, or they haven't been making it, you know, maybe it's not about you necessarily, but maybe it's more about them, or maybe it's a mutual thing. I'm just getting this sense of like, things have kind of drifted for a while, or things have been very samey for a while. So maybe if you've been dating, you just haven't found, you know, anyone that really catches your attention. Maybe you've been going on dates, but it's just all been very, very samey. Maybe you are interested in love, but not actively dating, but just no one seems to be, you know, interesting you, exciting you in that sort of way. But the Tower represents a big change, and the Emperor is kind of like taking control, seizing control of a situation. So it's almost like you decide enough's enough, I'm going to make a change in October. And the 7 of Swords, as I mentioned, is very interesting to me because it's got this sense of, I don't have the full picture. I'm suspicious, or I'm worried that something is happening that I'm not in control of. And then you have this 10 of Wands of being stressed or busy or having lots of things to think about. But then ultimately 10 of Pentacles, security, stability, longevity. So I feel like this situation is going to pass. Group 2, honestly, I feel as though this is a problem or something that you're worried about that ultimately isn't going to be as even worth worrying about, I think. I was going to say it isn't going to be as big as you think it is, but actually I don't think there's anything to worry about here. I think it's just that you're feeling things have gotten a little samey, or no one, I'm not finding anyone interesting, but I'm looking for love, or, you know, my partner and I haven't been making time for each other. Does this mean that they're losing interest in me? There's that worry of the 7 of Swords, you know, but actually no, you're just busy. And they're busy, you know, and it doesn't mean that they don't have that care for you. The 10 of the Pentacles is really about long-term stability. So let's look at your oracle cards. I didn't really shuffle them in any particular order, but I got, first of all, what have I got? Your masculine and feminine cards. So this is something that I generally do for any relationship reading, just to show what the energies are from the masculine and feminine in that relationship. Now, this does not mean that this means that there is a man and woman in the relationship necessarily. Masculine and feminine is about the energies involved. So even if you are a woman, for example, you might not be represented by the feminine in the reading. It is about the energies in the relationship. So the masculine cards are Dumuzid, presence, that's number 10. And Manannán Maclia, mentor, number 31. Lovely Manannán, one of my patron gods. Very, very dear to me. So presence. Presence is an interesting word, given that we've spoken about how you're possibly either not noticing the presence of someone that is interesting because they just don't seem to be there, or you're sort of noticing their absence in a way, or you're not being present. You're not having the quality time with someone that is interesting to you. So that is really interesting. Then mentor is also interesting because this, I guess, it's not really a romantic word. So possibly those of you that are in relationships, you might be feeling as though my partner has become more of a friend recently in the last few weeks or months. So you might be feeling like, we're having interesting discussions like one might have with a mentor, but we just don't have that intimacy or that emotional connection at the moment because we haven't been making time for each other. So, we're talking about interesting things that we're doing, but we're doing them separately, Some of you might be looking to a mentor figure as a possible source of romance, because you've also got the Emperor, which is also like an authority figure or mentor or father figure. Now the feminine in this situation is Kali, destruction, powerful goddess Kali. Now this makes me think of change and clearing away what is no longer worth it, what is no longer working for you, for this situation. Kali clears away what is no longer needed. So possibly this suspension temperance tower is about almost taking the time to work out what is not satisfying you or what is not quite hitting the mark, and then trying to change that. Do you need to change your routine so that you have that little bit more time together? Do you need to, I guess, try different things when it comes to looking for love? If you're not in a partnership, is this to do with you going out of your comfort zone a little bit perhaps and looking in a different way than you currently have been? Really interesting. So that's the two sort of, I guess, interchanges between either you and your partner, you and the person who is important in your love life in October, or you and the person that you are attracting in October. Now, more information on the person you are attracting in October, and this is especially important for anyone who's not in a relationship, you have visionary. And I think that kind of fits quite well with mentor, to be honest. Light attributes are capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. Shadow attributes are, what does that say? Selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Interesting. So a visionary, someone who is very creatively minded, can see outside the box, I guess, think outside the box, can see things in a really different way from other people. Someone who maybe has quite an unusual perspective. So that is who you are attracting in love in October. And if you're in a relationship, this could well be just how your partner is showing up for you in October, along with, whether they're the masculine or feminine. That can be an extra sort of data point for you. So other cards that you have, we have be grateful and appreciative. And also time will reveal your wish. So this is another marker for me of thinking that this too shall pass. Any difficulties that you're currently experiencing with regards to love, they are temporary. And that might seem difficult to believe or accept, but it is true. And so this be grateful and appreciative card is saying, remind yourself of the things that you are thankful for. It doesn't have to be love related, but if you are struggling with your partner, it could be that you are, just grateful to have them and grateful to have the time that you have together. Perhaps you're in a temporary difficult situation due to conflicting work schedules, but that will change. Maybe the rotas are going to get changed or something, or one of you is looking for another job. Maybe even having your current job is in the way of you looking for love. Maybe it's stopping you from having much time to yourself to actually pursue a relationship. Maybe there's very little opportunity for you to meet someone at work as well due to the nature of your role. So this is just a reminder of, what are you grateful for? Try your best to focus on that when you're feeling frustrated, and this too shall pass. So the other cards you have for October, you have Bindung, commitment, number 12. So some of you are increasing the commitment in your relationship. Some of you are just increasing your commitment to love, to looking for love, to finding love, to being present in love. You have Freude, joy, number 39. They're both lovely cards. Lovely, lovely cards. Embrace the flow of life, full moon in Gemini. Definitely, definitely. I think there's just a bit of frustration on your end in October, just like, oh, we never get enough time together, or seems like it's ages since I've had a proper chat with you or with someone who has been interesting. You know, my last few dates have been really disappointing, or feels like ages since I was last excited by someone. No one has caught my eye for a very long time. And what you're actually being told is like, it will happen. It just not immediately. And again, this might have been going on for a while, but just take some time just to breathe in October. Try not to get stressed about it. Try and enjoy what you have, and trust that this is temporary. So then you have strategy, 21. So some of you putting together a strategy, perhaps changing how you're going to go about looking for love. Passion, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. I like this card. I actually, it really looks like the kind of image that you would get on the front of a romance novel. So maybe there is something here to do with you like almost romancing yourself, or bringing more romance into your life through, I'm not necessarily saying reading romance novels if that doesn't appeal to you, but maybe watching films where romance is a key theme, maybe doing things in your day to just romance yourself and romance the time of year. What I mean by that is like savoring the small things, like be grateful and appreciative, make something more fancy and romantic, you know, like light a scented candle rather than just a regular one, or spice up your bath with some fun bath products that feel luxurious. Get that skincare product that you've been looking at, you know, really just escape into a cozy jumper now that it's getting colder, you know, and just enjoy that feeling, like really activate your senses, romance yourself and your day-to-day experience. And then your final two cards are wings. You never needed those wings to fly, number 8. So this is about liberation. You never needed those wings to fly. And lioness, you've earned all your stripes, number 13. It's definitely liberation and empowerment seems to be a message there. So group 2, let's do your charms now. And then we've got tokens for you as well, divination tokens, and also your dice. So we'll do your charms first. October feels quite introspective for many of you. I'm getting like a channeled vision of someone actually wearing a cozy jumper and just walking around like a park or something during the cooler weather, and just sort of looking at the other people there and looking at the nature and spotting a squirrel and that sort of thing, and just savoring it. I feel like you're almost slowing down in this month. Like, don't rush around places. Don't try and, you know, kill yourself at work and force yourself to get things done in a certain time frame. It's like you're giving yourself permission to slow down more in October. Got this upright horseshoe, that's really positive, so good luck is coming your way. The dragonfly is also a good luck symbol, and a symbol of fire elementals being around you, so dragons, salamanders, etc. The lobster is showing you that you are strong enough to get through difficulty. That's a symbol of hardiness and sturdiness. You have faith and confidence with this cross, seeing things clearly, insight, understanding. You have the star, which is a symbol of hope, optimism, faith, being on the right path. It's also a symbol of healing. Down here you have a geography marker. This is a little African cat. So whenever I get this particular geography marker, it makes me think that some of you are dealing with someone who has African heritage. Maybe they have an African name or surname, even if they don't have that heritage. Maybe they are from an African country. They could work for an African company, or a company that has something in its name, perhaps, that reminds you of Africa. Like maybe it's called Lion something, or maybe it's called... I hate it when I have to come up with these things on the spot. I don't know, Fofonyane or something. It's very unlikely, but yeah, something along those lines. Won't be for everyone, but for some of you that'll be a powerful validator that this is your reading. You also have the chair, so this is symbolic of your home. Some of you might be moving house, doing DIY. You might be considering letting a partner move in. You have another good luck symbol in the form of the ladybird. And this is also a symbol from Ascended Master Mother Mary. So Mother Mary is around you at this time. If you feel called to work with her, please consider doing that. She is very compassionate, very loving. Just really this sort of energy of compassion and mercy. Unconditional love. So that is really nice that you have her calling card. And here is the Three of Cups, these three little dolphins. And this one is landing on the 10 of Wands. So normally when I think of the Three of Cups, I think of friends and socializing. But I almost feel like you're not in the mood for that in this month. Because, you know, I mentioned that it feels quite introspective. There was definitely a pile in my general October reading that was something to do with feeling quite introverted and not wanting people to sort of impose upon your thoughts and your feelings and your space. So if you haven't watched that one already, maybe check it out, the general October predictions, because it might have some more insight if that is how you're feeling into your situation. But what I'm actually seeing with the Three of Cups here, given that it's landing on the 10 of Wands, is more that it's about lightening up and giving yourself permission to play and relax and rest and have fun, not take things so seriously. It's really feeding into what I was saying earlier about not rushing, not forcing yourself to, you know, go flat out and then burn out. It's giving yourself permission to be gentler in October in your approach to love, but I think also in other things as well. You have the stars, the galaxy here, when the stars align, and that's landing on time will reveal your wish. So it's like literally the stars will align, this will pass, this will change. You just have to ride it out in the meantime. Then you have the Alice in Wonderland charm with the different card suit symbols on it. This makes me think of gambling, risk-taking, taking a risk, going out of your comfort zone. And it's interesting that that's on the commitment card. For some of you, it's like you're making a commitment to trying things differently in October, to shaking up your routine or the way that you go about looking for love, or the types of dates that you go on. Perhaps you're trying different things, seeing if that will bring you perhaps different types of people. Then over here on the joy card, you have the blue heart, which is about feeling sad, feeling blue, feeling lonely in love. And you also have the scissors. And so it's like letting go of that. It's like cutting that away from you, cutting the cords that keep you attached to that sadness and that sort of wallowing, low mood kind of energy. And the disappointments of past loves. Then you have this lovely big key on the wings card. You never needed those wings to fly. This key is a symbol of success, of freedom, you know, like the key to escape the tower, liberation. In fact, she didn't even need the key because she flew right out of the window. Yeah, it's like you have what it takes. You have what you need to solve any problems or to face any obstacles that may come your way in October. So let's do your tokens now. Got these two sets, the big tokens and the smaller ones. use both of them. I always just use both of them whenever I use them in a reading. I never just do one. Okay, so we'll do the small tokens first. And then the bigger ones. Okay, yeah, so you have the sheriff's hat, first of all, 82. This makes me think of authority, taking control. You know, we mentioned mentors and authority figures earlier with Manannán and the Emperor. But also think about it, like this is, I don't know if you've ever seen the Hocus Pocus film, but it just struck me the Emperor card represents the father of two of the main characters in Hocus Pocus. And he's dressed up as Dracula and he's going off to a party. But it's at that party, like when they see him in this scene, he's dancing, that he's been placed under a spell by the witch. And so he's no longer an authority figure. They go to him because they need an authority figure. They need someone to look out for them and say, you know, it's going to be okay. But he's under a spell and he's just kind of acting like really reckless. Well, not even recklessly, but just sort of acting really strangely, like almost like he's 20 again, you know, and really irresponsible and just wanting to have fun and not caring about things, not taking things seriously. So yeah, possibly you are looking for an authority figure where there isn't one, or you're looking for someone to mentor you or to show you the way or to be serious and, you know, work things out, but it's just not there. What else do you have? You've got the nuclear science symbol, 59. Just makes me think of science and rationality, but it also makes me think of a nuclear family. And it makes me think of the nucleus, like getting to the root of a situation, getting to the very bottom of a problem. And then you have whirlwind, 91. Being dazzled, being blown away by something, unable to get your head around something, being caught up in a whirlwind romance, for example, something just kind of sweeping you off your feet and being really sudden, coming out of nowhere, really intense. Maybe you're longing for that kind of romance. You're longing for the, you know, the romance novel kind of romance, and it's just not showing up for you, and that's getting you down. And yeah, this is just a temporary thing. Group 2. And then your larger tokens, you've got the laurels, which is like an achievement, recognizing your achievement, your success. In a way, your own authority, like you are your own authority figure. I love that that's landing on the wings card. And then you have Zen, trying to stay calm, stay focused, stay grounded. Yoga, meditation, mindfulness. Trying not to get swept away. You know, it's almost like you need to have that clear head because you need to be your own authority figure. You need to get the DIY done, or you need to, you know, do this 10 of Wands, all of this work, but you still shouldn't let that get out of control. You know, I think that that's partly where the Temperance card of balance is coming in, is this message of you need to kind of walk the middle path. It shouldn't be too overwhelming. It shouldn't be too stressful, but it also shouldn't be a nothing month. You'll get some great insights and realizations from introspection, but you are also going to get things done. You're going to achieve things, and that's wonderful. It's just that love feels a little bit like it's not what you want it to be at the moment in this month. It might be a little bit disappointing at times, or it might not live up to the great fictional romances that we all love. But hey, it doesn't always have to be that way. And, you know, there are other great things to be grateful for. And you're just going to ride it out and see what comes further down the line. So let's finish up with your dice, group 2. We're rolling the first set of dice. Now, those are the fantasy ones. They're quite well suited to the time of year. Okay, we're going to roll 3 of them for you. Group 2. Wow, okay. You literally have the Hanged Man, which was your first card in your reading, Suspension. Yeah, there's no way of getting around it, group 2. I think you're just going to be a little bit frustrated and disappointed in October when it comes to love. You might have quite low patience with how things are turning out. You may feel as though your partner just isn't making time for you. You may feel as though there is just no one in your area that could possibly be interesting to you in a romantic sense. You might, for example, have a date that looks promising and they keep cancelling or pushing it back, and it means that you were looking forward to something and now you're going to have to wait for it. You know, and there's that sense of like, oh, I'm now going to have to wait longer for it. And, you know, it puts you in that weird limbo situation when plans are like unexpectedly cancelled or changed, and it just feels weird and changes the vibe completely. But look at what else you have. You've got the Fool's little possessions on a stick. The beginning of a journey, starting afresh, changing your perspective and starting anew. And look, you have the 2 people who are like making up. They're hugging. They're good friends again. So I think by the end of this month, if you've been having problems with a date or with your partner, that is going to improve. If you've been struggling to find someone of interest, then I think someone could come on your radar by the end of the month or perhaps by early November. It's just like this is a bit of a weird month for you. I think you just feel kind of not quite yourself in October. It's like you're very introspective, kind of weird realizations and feelings are coming to you, and it's like you're looking for an authority figure to say to you, like, just do this. Like, this is what you need to do and it'll be fine. But there's no one that will actually tell you that, of course. You've got to be the person that instructs yourself with what to do. So I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. This is just a sense of directionlessness a little bit. But ultimately, it is temporary. It's just 1 month. It may not even last the full month. And then, whew, it passes. Okay. So I hope this was helpful, group 2. It may not have been exactly what you were hoping to hear in this reading today, but hopefully if you are already experiencing some of this stuff, hopefully this maybe makes some sense to you, maybe explains some of it, hopefully maybe even a bit encouraging that it's not going to last forever. But yeah, this is a really interesting reading. You should have so much more faith in yourself than you do, group 2. So many beautiful messages here. Have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful October, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye. Take care. Hi there, group 3. Welcome to your reading. So this is for those of you who chose the Treasure Witch and the Everyday Witch Tarot. This one is going to be for you. So if I think about the Treasure Witch and what that could mean for your October love messages, this could mean that you find something of value. It could mean that you are appreciating things more with regards to love in October. Maybe just noticing things that bring you joy, that have meaning for you. I'm just sort of seeing value from this. So value, things to treasure, treasuring moments maybe, quality time, special moments. Could also imply treating yourself as well. Showing yourself some love. So let's get your tarot cards. So as I mentioned in the intro, I've already shuffled your oracle cards, but we're going to shuffle your tarot live, and I haven't looked at your oracle cards, so I don't know what they are. I'll be discovering them at the same time as you. But let's see what the tarot has to say. October love messages, group 3, love messages. Okay. Ooh. Your deck was trying to jump out of my hand. Okay, so you have Ace of Wands. That's a lovely card to start with. New beginnings, fresh ideas. You have the Fool as well. Okay, 2 new beginnings, or 2 cards drawing attention to this being like a fresh start for you. You also have the King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, so all of the earth signs showing up in your reading. And then you have Queen of Swords as well, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, all the air signs. So earth and air signs showing up in your reading so far, but real like new beginnings, okay? So some of you may be freshly out of a relationship and looking for something new. I think many of you are looking for or finding a new relationship in October, even if it's maybe not like a fully committed, serious relationship in October. It might start out as flirting or dating or something a little bit, less serious, but you are excited by it. I'm sensing excitement, contentment, also a feeling of like independence and empowerment. Like both of these 2 figures, the King of Pentacles and Queen of Swords, have built a lot by themselves. They sort of worked hard to create the life that they have. So let's see what your oracle cards have to say. I didn't really shuffle them in any particular order, but if I just take them as they are, this is the set that I've shuffled for you. So Anubis, transition, number 3. This is your message from the masculine. Okay, and then your message from the feminine is Eingana, health. Okay, so transition and health. And just to explain these 2 cards, I always like to pull a message from the masculine and feminine when I do a relationship reading, but this doesn't mean that there is a man and a woman in a relationship. And it also doesn't mean that, for example, if you are a woman, you might not be represented by the feminine card. It's all to do with the energy of a relationship. So it's more like the dynamics within the relationship. So the masculine is going through a time of transition, a time of change, a time of almost like a limbo period between one point and another point. It's a bit of a journey, sense of new beginnings. And then the feminine is focused on health, and that can be physical health, mental health, even things like financial health. Then the people coming towards you in love in October, or this could be one person who has sort of both of these attributes, but could be 2 people. So you firstly have King, light attributes, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. Shadow attributes, excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. So this could even be this King of Pentacles figure. And then the other card you got was Pioneer, light attribute, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Shadow attribute, compulsive need to keep moving on. So this could be one person who represents both King and Pioneer, or it could be 2 separate people, but that's who you're attracting in October. If you're watching this and you're thinking, I'm in a relationship, I'm not interested in attracting someone else, that's fine. This could be, for example, how your partner is showing up for you in October. Pioneer makes me think of like new ways of thinking, very creative, lots of energy, always wanting to be on the move, like not happy with what they have in a way, like wanting to keep pushing things, trying something new, keeping the ball rolling, etc. Not happy to rest, I guess, until they've got to the next thing. King has this sense of authority and independence and good judgment. Someone who's decisive. Someone who is able to see the bigger picture of a situation. What other cards do you have? You have what's meant to be will find its way. That's really lovely. You have Zwiespältigkeit, number 52. That is ambiguity. When you're a bit uncertain about something, something seems to have like a double meaning, or you're kind of unsure how to take something. Liebe, love, number 42. That one is a really nice card to have, especially in a love reading. Then you have last quarter moon in Cancer, take a breather. Broken heart, number 9. Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. And finally, feast. Slow down and celebrate yourself. Number 29. I love that card. So to me, this card kind of points towards the treasure witch, and I guess also to this health message. She may be eating comfort food, she's not necessarily eating the most healthy food, but it's like a sense of just prioritizing your health. So I see 2 separate energies in the reading with the masculine and feminine, and one is prioritizing health and one is kind of going through this time of change, and it hasn't quite reached the other side yet. So you have broken heart and take a breather. And so with these 2 sort of coming up together, it does kind of indicate that you are currently dealing with some heartbreak or some sadness when it comes to love. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's like, someone's behaved terribly towards you. It could just be an overall sadness with like your love life and just kind of feeling like it's not at a place where you want it to be. So slow down and celebrate yourself and take a breather. They both seem to fit together nicely for me. And I love this, what's meant to be will find its way as well. It's almost like Spirit here is giving you permission in October to not be rushing all the time, or not to be putting pressure on yourself of like, I need to find a person, or I need to settle down. I need to, have that perfect relationship. It could even be, a situation where this month it's actually fine to look for something a bit less serious in a partner. That might not be what you're looking for, and that's fine. But if that's something you could be interested in, but you've been giving yourself a hard time, kind of saying, no, I need to be looking only at serious relationships. I should only be looking for something long term. This King of Pentacles in this particular deck, I'm always drawn to how he's holding this cake and he's got this like glass of wine. It just makes me think of the phrase having your cake and eating it, like someone who just wants to kind of have everything, have every advantage, have the best of all worlds. And so I think you're being given permission in October to slow down and allow that to happen. The new beginnings energy is nice as well. I think a lot of you are meeting new people in October, especially with this getting to know each other card. Spending time talking to someone, hanging out, dating. I think some of you are meeting several different people in October because there's ambiguity. It's like multiple different paths that you could go down potentially in October. For those of you who are in relationships, I think there is this sense of just taking things one step at a time in October. So I'm kind of seeing this, if you're in a relationship, it's like, it's fine to just slow down and take the pressure off. I'm kind of seeing that one partner might be really busy in this month and always trying to rush and get things done and like achieve a certain thing, but it feels as though the other partner doesn't really want that, or like even it's not necessary to be rushing so much because, we have this card, what's meant to be will find its way. If you're the really busy partner in this month, you would benefit from just taking your foot off the pedal a little bit and just allowing yourself some breathing space, and that will benefit your relationship as well and give you more chance to talk to each other and feel like you're more connected to each other on a deeper way. Especially if you're in a long-term relationship, I think it can be easy to just get into a routine of sort of acknowledging each other, but not really connecting on a deeper level. So that may be something that you're falling into in October, or that you're at risk of falling into. And so there is a message here of just some things can wait until tomorrow. Some things aren't as important. It's best if you can prioritize a little bit of time just to chill, have some downtime on the regular, speak to your partner, feel more connected to them. So those are your cards, group 3. Let's get your charms, tokens, and dice now. We'll do your charms first. So here is the charm tin. I think it all goes back to that Treasure Witch card, actually, about learning what has value to you and kind of learning to appreciate it because it is valuable to you. Not taking anything for granted, but actually savoring and treasuring the things in your life that are meaningful and significant to you. So what else do we have? So here, you've got the Wasp. Feeling stung, feeling hurt. Now this one is actually on the health card, which was the message from the feminine. So possibly the feminine in this situation is kind of dealing with more emotional pain or perhaps even mental health concerns if there's been a lot of stress, because I'm also seeing over here the locust, which makes me think of being overwhelmed, feeling swarmed by something. And then down here as well on Take a Breather, you have this charm, which I call the Chamber of Secrets door, because that's what it looks like if you've seen the film with the snakes around the circular door. So it's always like, when I see this, I think of opening a can of worms and sort of facing down what needs to be acknowledged, facing down the monster, so to speak. It's not an easy thing to do, but unless you do it, it's just going to be something that's lurking in your subconscious or lurking in the back of your mind for ages, just needing to be resolved and just leaving you feeling low-level anxious for a very long time. So it's like some of you are choosing to confront something in October that is emotionally very challenging, or that is something that you're bringing into October with you, so you're now kind of recovering from that. What else do we have? The paintbrush, creativity. And I do see definitely someone being drawn towards you who has a very creative energy, someone who's they may work in a creative field, or this could just be more of a hobby or just a personality trait that they have a creative way of thinking. They're very creatively minded. But definitely see someone who is creative and insightful as well. So you have the binoculars here, indicating someone who is insightful, able to kind of look deeply into a situation, really zoom in on the details and see it for what it is. You also have the dog. So there is a loyal person in your love life in October. So this could be your long-term partner. It could be someone you're dating. It could be someone that you meet in October, and this is the start of a new thing, but the dog is symbol of loyalty. Someone that can be relied upon. It can also be a zodiac marker as well. You may be meeting someone who was born in the year of the dog, the lunar year of the dog. Then you have the umbrella, protection. Maybe someone is protective of you. Maybe you're protective of yourself. Queen of Swords is quite protective of herself. The unicorn, that's really cute. Someone who's very unique, okay? You're attracting someone who's a unique individual. Something about them is very unusual, and that I think kind of draws you in as well. Maybe they have a very odd sense of humor, or they have a really unusual way of seeing the world, really interesting perspective on things. Maybe their style is very distinctive. Their voice is very distinctive. There's just something about them that is like, oh, I've never met someone like you before. The unicorn can also be a symbol of Scotland as well, because it's Scotland's national animal. So you could be meeting someone who has Scottish heritage, comes from Scotland, works for a Scottish company, or a company that makes you think of Scotland, like maybe they're called, I don't know, Thistle something, or Highland, whatever. Can also be someone who's not Scottish but has a Scottish name. So lots of Celtic names, for example, or names like Douglas, Fraser. Donald, etc. Ailey, Morgan, I'm trying to think of some more female Scottish names. Lorna might be Scottish actually. Yeah, but yeah, Scottish name or surname perhaps. Won't be for everyone, but for some people it will be a nice little validation. And you have the infinity symbol on the Queen of Swords. Could feel like history is repeating itself, or that you're in a repeating pattern in October. But I also, when I think of infinity, I think of loyalty as well. So that sort of ties in with your dog charm. So let's get your tokens now. And I have 2 sets of tokens, big and small. And I just always use both of them together. I've never done a reading where I've just used one set. And let's get the large ones. Okay. So, Queen. How interesting is this that you've got King and Queen, and then you've got the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords? I think there are 2 very independent people. And obviously you're one of them, but like whoever you're dealing with in love is also very independent. And it might not be that you always feel that way, but it's just like, at least in October, there is a strong theme of independence for both you and whomever is present in your love life. Creation. Yeah, this has a strong sense of new beginnings as well, doesn't it? I like that it's landing on the broken heart, because it's kind of like saying this was an ending, but a beginning comes from it. Creation can also symbolize pregnancy as well. You can see it sort of looks like a pregnant woman's tummy when she's laid down. Silhouette. It's got a sort of a mystery feeling to me. Mystery, maybe meeting someone online, some of you. This kind of is like, you know, you don't see the full person till you meet them properly. This also has a memory element to it for me. Like sort of remembering someone from the past, maybe meeting someone from the past, or wishing you could go back and try that relationship again. Interesting. And then from your smaller charms, smaller tokens, you've got the money bag, which is number 94. So finances, work, you could meet someone at work. Maybe finances are quite important to you in this month, and it's almost like that's taking more of a priority than love. Certainly the Queen of Swords is very, very focused on career and her own sort of independence. And then I guess in a way you could say the same of the King of Pentacles, that he's very family oriented, but he's definitely made sure that he has worked and saved and invested to have sort of a very comfortable home. So it could be that you're very focused on that in October as opposed to love. Then you have the school bus, number 98, that's travel, learning, education. And then you have the ESP charm, number 102, intuition, clairvoyancy, knowing something before it actually happens, knowing it's going to happen, or sensing that someone is going to be important in your life, sensing when something's not quite right with someone or in a relationship, and that's sort of being something that niggles at you. Let's finish up with your dice. Okay, group 3, you're getting the third set of dice. So number 3, those are the mystery dice, interestingly. I think some of you are, you're dealing with someone who you meet online, so you don't immediately like see them. You know, I mean, you can see pictures of them, but I think that's very different to seeing how someone is in real life and their mannerisms and, just the way they carry themselves, the way they speak, like all of that is very different to just seeing a still image. I think often, like, if I've only seen one picture of someone online, I often struggle to recognize them even. Like, even though it was like a recent picture, I still am just like, oh, it looks different in real life, when someone's moving and their hair is different, they're dressed differently, they just look very different to me. So how many dice are we rolling? Oh, from number 3. Okay, look, group 3. We're rolling 3 dice for you from the third set. 3, 3, 3. Took it straight out of my hands. Okay, what do we... Yes, the mystery person, this kind of mysterious magician figure. It's really interesting. Maybe some of you have a secret admirer in October, actually. Even if you're in a relationship, because obviously you've got like the king and queen, but there is also this pioneer energy. That could be someone separate. So some mystery admirer for some of you. Interestingly, you've got the safe. So definitely a lot of you are more focused on your career, your finances, maybe your home, than specifically love in this month. Like you just getting your head down at work, or you're focused on trying to save money. Maybe that puts you off going on dates, for example, or meeting up with people. Maybe there are some events that people have invited you to where you might end up meeting someone, but you just, for cost reasons, would rather stay at home, or give it a miss. So that's an interesting factor in your love life in October, is how finances kind of feed into it. And then finally, you've got the person who is like afraid of looking around the corner. This is interesting because it also kind of reminds me of the Chamber of Secrets, where they're looking around the corner with mirrors. So if there's a basilisk there, they won't look it straight in the eye. There's this sense of like just worry about the future, fear of the future, or fear of confronting something. To bring it back to this charm, fear of facing up to what you know is there, facing up to the truth of a situation, facing up to healing that needs to be done. I think a lot of you are carrying sort of sadness and pain and unresolved issues from previous relationships, previous experiences in love. And it's like you're aware that if you want to move forward in your love life, you need to address those issues, but also that's frightening, and that, carries the potential, I guess, to destabilize your current sort of mental well-being, because sometimes when you go through healing, it gets worse before it gets better. And especially if you're trying to do well at work, or you're up for promotion, or you're trying to save money so you can buy a house or move house or something, there's just like a feeling of it's not the right time. And so I think that's something that you're really weighing up, is like, I want to move forward and have greater commitment and greater, experiences, but also this is my blockage, and, it's almost never going to be the right time in a way, because who would choose to, worsen their mental health temporarily or create some turmoil in their emotional lives? Not many of us. So when you have a choice about when to face up to it, there's almost a sense of it's never going to be the right time. So that's just something to think about in October, group 3. It's not that you have to, do anything about it in October, but just I think it's going to be on your mind, and it's just something to think about for the future. I really hope you've enjoyed this reading. I've loved having you here. Thank you so much for trusting me to do this for you. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers and patrons. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Take care. Have a great October, or what's left of it at least. And I will see you again soon. Bye bye.